This weekend we head back to one of our favorite places in the state of Ohio to no prep race. Tad and Jim's Dragway of Magnolia in Magnolia, Ohio. It's only about a 2-hour trip from our house up to Magnolia, and the dogs usually get settled in about halfway there. Beautiful scenery up around the northeastern part of Ohio, right along the border with Pennsylvania. Beautiful farm ground, and the view out the left side of the truck isn't too bad every once in a while as well. Billy and Vicky were in the Suburban towing the S10, and we had the Falcon in the 50-foot trailer behind us in the dually. Me, Tommy, June, and Chevy. After the boys went up and took a close look at the track, they decided that about a 140, 60 foot was about what the track would hold, and 560s, 570s, somewhere in that area. So they both loaded a tune-up in the cars they felt would go right down the track. Vicky and Harley, Bill Bybee, and Kenny had the booth all set up ready to go, just before it was time for the big wheel races and the drivers' meeting. Vicky had stayed up almost all night preparing goodie bags and getting things ready for the kids' big wheel race. The kids always have a great time, and we do this in memory of Mr. Kent Rose from Prestonsburg, Kentucky, who always had the big wheel races for the kids at his events. Right about the time the big wheels races were winding down, chip draw and drivers' meeting was happening in the staging lanes. Billy offered an open call out to anyone outside the state of Ohio in small tire first round off the trailer. But in the end, he had to pull chips like everybody else and drew the one and only Mike Moss with the Slim Shady Mustang. Now Mike is the same guy who took out Tommy in the final at Dragway 42 just a few weeks ago at the Rewind race. Now Mike's a sharp guy and he's a hard worker. It should be a good race. But Tommy, on the other hand, got paired up with Nick Pluniak, who hasn't had the best luck getting down Magnolia this year. Billy manages to take out Mike Moss here with just a little bit of wheel speed out of the truck at about 200 feet. But watch closely what happens to Mike. The front shocks top out too early, and just as they top out, the rear tires gain wheel speed. Let's watch it again. The Mustang launches, the shocks extend, they top out just as the rear wheel comes into the screen, and you can see the Hoosiers are already losing traction. This allows Billy to get out on him about a car in the 60 foot. From that point on, there was really nothing Mike could do to run the truck down. Now, watch how Tommy's Falcon leaves the starting line picture perfect, with the front shocks topping out just about the time he gets to the starter. It hits the tire nice and gentle, drives out as the power comes in, and makes a picture perfect pass right off the trailer. Putting pressure on Nick early, Nick grabs a scramble and knocks the tires off. So it's Sunday, and I can't show you everything that happened up there last night. I want to leave something on the table for Billy when his video comes out. There's some fantastic footage, and when it comes out, I'd like for y'all to really pay close attention to the suspension movements of these cars. The small tire thing, especially here in Ohio, I mean, it's everywhere, but the small tire racing is getting to be highly competitive. And you know, I mentioned the other day that your tune-up doesn't begin and end with just the laptop or just a rev limiter or just a tire pressure gauge. The tune-up starts with pulling your driver and your car into the burnout box properly. Your tune-up really is critical from the moment the car enters the burnout box and lines up in the groove until you let out of the gas in the shutdown. So it's important, guys, if you're interested in this kind of racing, you got to really pay close attention. You really need to do some homework and watch some game footage. And the video that Billy's got coming out is really, really good. There's a lot of really good footage. And if you pay close attention, you'll see a lot of really good stuff, really important stuff. Anyway, tonight we're going out to dinner with Kenny and Harley, his girlfriend. We've invited them to go to Cracker Barrel with us tonight as a thank you for all the work that Kenny's done, and she's helped us immensely in the merch tent at the events lately. And we couldn't be happier to have Kenny and Harley helping us. I mean, just on a regular basis. Kenny has lost his job here recently, so he's been working for us mostly here at the shop. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as my YouTube keeps doing as well as it does and Billy's does as well as his does, Kenny's welcome to work here every day as long as we can afford to have him here. Which brings me to another point. I had no idea that my YouTube would take off the way it has, and very appreciative. But it's got to the point now where the first 2 or 3 hours at the track for us is just absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. Something about me is I'm a little bit of an introvert. I don't do well in crowds of people that I don't know. I don't do well with people coming up to me and talking about personal things. Like, I get it. Like, you see all this stuff on the channel and you feel like you know us, and a lot of you do. But I don't know a lot of people. Like, it's impossible, and it's difficult for me as a very genuine person to talk about kind of personal things with people I don't know. And I have trouble with that. I'm working on it. I'm trying to do better, but I struggle a little bit, especially when we first get there. And it's like, we first get there, the dogs are excited, and the dogs tend to want to fight when they get excited. They're very protective of me. So if one of them gets excited, that makes the other one get excited, and then they start getting defensive, and then they start fighting and raising all kinds of hell. So usually what happens when I first get to the track, I go in the trailer and I go hide for a little bit. And it's gotten to be a common thing for me, because it's like the first 2 or 3 hours, everybody's wanting to come say hi and talk to you or get an autograph, or I don't know. It's just difficult for me. I need to wait until everybody calms down. It's like after first or second round, everybody kind of calms down and everything mellows out and everybody's more interested in watching the racing. But when we first get there and there's nothing else going on, it's like we just get bombarded, and I struggle with that a little bit. So I'll work on that. But please, guys, if you see us there at the track, realize that it's very tense for me. My kids mean the world to me, and this is a dangerous sport. And my 100% full attention is focused on making sure that the kids don't miss anything. As far as making sure the trucks are topped off with fuel, the tire pressures are right, and just anything and everything, track conditions, and watching to make sure nobody is dripping or leaking anything. So if you see me on the starting line, it's probably not the place to start asking carburetor questions or just trying to make conversation. That's not the time. I don't do well with it. I don't know. I just struggle with that a little bit. But we've got a lot going on here. As you can see, we've got the dart now for Allison, and she's going to start bracket racing that. We've got the first Wednesday night bracket race event scheduled at Trails coming up here in a couple of weeks. And I want to get that dart lined out for Allison so she can start learning. And Allison has never raced. She's never even raced juniors. So she's a clean slate. She wants to race. She's very interested in it. And she's very driven. She's a humongous help to us here at the shop and at the events and videoing and all that. So very thankful for that. But I don't want it to be a one-way street for Allison. If she wants to race, I want her to be able to race. And I feel like every time we go to an event, there's people that come up and ask me, they want to get started in this. They don't know how to get started. And in all honesty, the best place to get started is bracket racing. You learn the ins and outs of the timing system. You learn the ins and outs of staging and consistency. And all that is incredibly important to know prep racing. So if you're interested in getting started in this in drag racing, you'll want to tune in and subscribe to SRC Photo. There's going to be a lot of really good information on there, and I'll document some of that on my channel as well as I teach her how to do it. And I'm sure her father and her mother want to be involved, so there's going to be a lot going on there. But I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. Anyway, we're going out to dinner tonight with Kenny and Harley, and I just wanted to show you guys, give you a little teaser of what's coming. It's really good stuff. We had a fantastic time. Billy went out second round, but you'll see all that. And then once we get Billy's video up, I'll go through round by round and explain what happened and our thinking behind what we did. And hopefully this is helping a lot of these guys. Some of them, I think it probably helps even some of the guys that we race with. That's not probably a good thing for us, but when I started this channel, I told you all I didn't want to be somebody that just takes and takes and takes from the sport. I want to give back, and I want to see other people do well. I want to see the sport grow. I want to see more people out there enjoying drag strips, attending events, and I want to see the sport of drag racing survive for years and years after I'm gone. And hopefully these videos will stay up and help people long after I'm gone. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off here for tonight. We're getting ready to go to dinner. Tune in. Hopefully tomorrow Billy will have his video up, and we'll see y'all later.